I'm going crazy up here. I can't take it anymore. Tell me how much you miss me.
We spent 20 years preparing for this film, but will it be enough?
It's not a matter of if the aliens return, it's a matter of when.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Independence Day Resurgence facts.
They're coming back.
That is definitely bigger than the last one.
For this list, we'll be exploring the most interesting information, tantalizing tidbits, and fun facts leading up to this much-anticipated and long-awaited sequel to one of the most memorable sci-fi disaster films in history.
Can there be a peace between us?
No peace.
Number 10. Alien tech has pushed the world forward.
Yeah. What is it good for? Absolutely. Never. Say it again, y'all.
A question made famous by Edwin Starr in one seriously catchy song, War. What is it good for? As Independence Day Resurgence is sure to prove yet again, war is devastating and comes at a heavy cost.
What goes up must come down.
But historically, wartime research and development have also resulted in major technological breakthroughs, which, in times of peace, are adapted to non-military consumer goods. The War of 1996 might have brought Earth to the brink of destruction, but in its wake, the recovered alien tech has slowly been integrated into the planet's military technology, such as aircraft.
All fighters, evade, evade!
As highlighted by scientist David Levinson at the 2011 TEDx, the world has alien tech to thank for the development of smartphones, bladeless fans, drones, advanced airport security scanners, and much more.
Also, having one of these handy kinda helps. So, once again, it's David Levinson reminding you and anybody else that's listening, don't mess with Earth.
Number 9. Made on an estimated $200 million budget.
They're coming back.
As a general rule, major studios make films based on one consideration: potential return on investment. Independence Day was filmed on an estimated budget of $75 million and went on to gross $817.4 million worldwide. It was the highest-grossing film of 1996. And 20 years later, it's still ranked in the top 60 of the highest-grossing films of all time.
Checkmate.
Having a budget in the hundreds of millions of dollars has become somewhat commonplace for modern summer blockbusters. But as we've seen time and time again, with the likes of 2012's Battleship or 2013's The Lone Ranger, a big budget doesn't guarantee financial success.
Something very wrong with that horse.
But if Fox is looking for a solid return on a $200 million investment in 2016, Resurgence is looking like a smart bet.
Shouldn't we be nervous?
Yeah.
Number 8. Something strange is happening in the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Every time I interview one of my patients and show them this, they all express the same emotion.
Fear.
In the wake of the War of 1996, the world has come together in an unprecedented way, finally putting aside past conflicts in recognition of one simple truth. Faced with extraterrestrial threats, the planet must stand together as a united front.
We sacrifice for each other, no matter what the cost. And that's worth fighting for.
Seemingly only one nation stands apart from the rest of the world. Apparently, a number of the aliens survived the war after their ship crashed in the Congo, and they continued to fight with the local military forces over the next few years. Refusing many offers of international aid, the Congolese government insisted upon handling the issue internally, becoming increasingly isolationist. The truth of what happened in the Congo is unclear, but it's obvious that the Congolese military have become skilled alien hunters.
They were hunting us. We had to learn how to hunt them.
Number 7. World building through viral marketing.
In 1996, the world confronted extinction.
Widespread panic has gripped the countryside.
In the internet age, viral marketing, if done correctly, can go a long way to help build interest in an upcoming film. The marketing team behind WarOf1996.com, one of the official Independence Day Resurgence websites, should be seriously commended for their hard work.
In less than an hour, aircraft from here will join others from around the world. And you will be launching the largest aerial battle in the history of mankind.
This website fills in the 20-year gap between the first film and its sequel by providing an interactive fictional history of the world in which the films take place. With a wide variety of photos, blurbs, Easter eggs, and even links to a few interactive Earth-space defense training games that unlock exclusive clips and content, this viral website lays a solid groundwork for a believable, fully fleshed out cinematic world.
In honor of our recent history, we invite you to reflect on all we lost and how far we've come by visiting warof1996.com.
Number 6. Earth Space Defense, a united global defense program.
Were you surprised when your daughter enlisted?
Not at all. She's a born leader. I know I've been taking orders from her since she was 5 years old.
In 1998, the UN recruited the greatest scientific and military minds from around the world and created the ESD to, quote, serve as an early warning system and united global defense unit against future extraterrestrial threats. They would go on to create alien hybrid ships and weapons, as well as defensive orbiting satellites and off-planet military bases. As the leading expert on alien technology, fan favorite character Dr. David Levinson, played by Jeff Goldblum, was offered the position of director, which he declined. Following a tragic failed test flight of an experimental aircraft, rushed by then-current ESD director Strain, Levinson assumed control of the program to ensure responsible leadership. In 2009, a fully militarized moon base was established, with plans for similar bases on Mars and Rhea, Saturn's moon.
Thanks for doing this, Jake.
Let's get moving though, because I kind of stole this thing.
Number 5. Mae Whitman is replaced by Maika Monroe.
Daddy let me watch Letterman.
Traitor.
Fans of the first film most likely remember President Whitmore's adorable daughter Patricia Whitmore, played by Mae Whitman.
Is Mommy sleeping now?
Whitman's fame has only grown since then, with prominent roles in Arrested Development and a leading role in the 2015 film The Duff.
I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
So, when news broke that Maika Monroe of horror films The Guest and It Follows had been cast in the role, the internet was not happy.
She has arrived.
Who is she?
Rumors circulated that Fox wanted someone hotter. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Whitman was never even shortlisted. Director Roland Emmerich claims that Whitman refused to read for the part and was therefore not considered. We may never know the real story, but the fact remains that it was heavily criticized recasting.
Happy 4th of July, Daddy.
Same to you, Munchkin.
Number 4. Roland Emmerich's first sequel.
Roland Emmerich has a unique sensibility and sense of humor and flair for spectacle.
Having directed 2012, The Day After Tomorrow, and Godzilla, Roland Emmerich is no stranger to big-budget disaster films, which, despite mixed critical reception, are generally huge box office hits. In fact, his films have generated over $3 billion worldwide, with $1 billion in the United States alone, making him one of the top 15 highest-grossing directors in America.
He's basically a force of nature.
Any movie studio would be glad to get a sequel out of him, but Emmerich is known to be quite particular with his projects. First, he prefers directing films he's written or helped to write. Second, he stated that he generally dislikes sequels and has no interest in writing them.
The forces of Mother Nature will be so devastating, it will bring an end to this world on winter solstice 12/21/12.
Independence Day Resurgence is his first exception. Hopefully, that's a good sign.
Post-World War generation, which is like unified.
You know, I think I have a surprise for you.
You do?
Number 3. Brent Spiner is back as Dr. Okun. It's with open arms that fans greet the return of Brent Spiner in the role of Dr. Brackish Okun.
Dr. Okun, you're awake. Very much so.
When a film and its sequel are separated by a 20-year gap, the odds of seeing many familiar faces are generally slim. But considering where the first film left off with Dr. Okun, no one in his or her right mind believed he'd be back. This just goes to show that you can't keep a fan-favorite eccentric scientist down.
They're not screaming. They're celebrating.
In interviews, Spiner has explained that while we saw Adam Baldwin's Major Mitchell check Okun for a pulse, he never gave a definite answer.
Baldwin, the dreaded Adam Baldwin, picks me up, He puts his fingers on my neck, and I'm going, I wanted to look at him and go, you're not a doctor? You're a soldier. What are you putting your fingers on my neck?
They filmed a scene in which he was declared dead, but thankfully it was cut from the film.
The last 24 hours have been really exciting.
Number 2, a much-delayed sequel.
I can't believe it's been 20 years. Still gonna take her father to the anniversary.
When you produce the highest-grossing film of the year, especially a big sci-fi disaster film that leaves plenty of room for a sequel, it's hard to say no. Reports of a potential sequel began circulating as early as 2002. 2 years later, Emmerich and Independence Day screenwriter Dean Devlin began work on a script. Ultimately dissatisfied with the story, they abandoned the project, which would sit untouched until 2009. They devised a fresh storyline, producing a treatment for not one, but 2 sequels.
They'd like to get the landmarks.
Unfortunately, casting issues resulted in further delays and rewrites. But in 2014, the first sequel was finally greenlit, and pre-production began. With a final release date of June 24, 2016, Resurgence was a sequel 20 years in the making.
I had years to get us ready.
We're going down!
We never had a chance.
We didn't last time either. We convinced an entire generation. This is a battle that we could win.
Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions.
We are right now in Utah Salt Flats. It's the biggest salt flats in America.
The Salt Flats is very beautiful. You know, it's an otherworldly kind of gorgeous kind of thing.
On the Salt Flats, you could drive as far as you want and never get there.
Number 1. They wanted Will Smith, but couldn't afford him.
I'm not doing it. I'm not. Don't get that look on. Don't get.
Movie so much.
So you're not doing it.
I'm not in. Okay, please? Guys, listen.
Many credit Independence Day as the film that launched Will Smith to megastardom. But the issue with megastars? They're never cheap.
Welcome to Earth.
Will Smith allegedly requested $50 million for a 2-film contract, which Fox refused to meet. Naturally, this meant writing Smith's Captain Steve Hiller out of the movie and shifting the focus onto a next generation of characters.
Did Will Smith's portrayal of his character influence your character?
Of course. I mean, you know, he grew up in the world that his dad saved.
While many familiar characters will be returning thanks to a cast that includes Jeff Goldblum, Bill Pullman, Brent Spiner, and Vivica A. Fox, fans will be left to mourn Colonel Hiller, who tragically died between films while test piloting a new hybrid aircraft. However, his on-screen son Dylan, played by Jesse Usher, will play a significant role, following in his footsteps.
Becoming anything other than the best fighter pilot was out of the question. I know he'd be proud of what we're doing here.
Do you agree with our list? What's your favorite Independence Day Resurgence fact?
From those ashes would rise a new age of growth, technology, and above all, unity.
For more long-awaited top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
Let's snoop the bastards.